interesting times, you know.
Right.
In the US, we're having Netflix, Paramount, you know, fighting for Warner Brothers. Here in Nigeria, we're having Showmax that has been with us for 11 years, shutting down. I want to ask, let's start with this big question. If a platform like Showmax, with the backing of MultiChoice, international partnerships, and years of brand recognition, couldn't sustain the streaming model, what does that tell us about the real economics of streaming in Africa today?
I think it's simple. It just can't work. For so many reasons. Would know that Iroko left first, and Iroko had some good investment, and Showmax is the next best thing when it comes to investment. You know, they spent, I know, in 2024 they spent a little over $100 million while they were rebranding. You know, trying to be better, and they had a partnership with NBC Universal, and after everything they still left. I mean, they're discontinuing the service. It is not very difficult maths, to be honest. It just can't work. The economics of Africa, we are not very aligned with subscription in this part of the world. Internet is expensive, subscription is expensive. Even the big guys, the Netflixes, the Primes, they still find it difficult to be profitable after spending billions, year in, year out. You look at the likes of Disney, Warner Bros. Discovery, who has tried to upscale their streaming services. They've lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And in Nigeria, it's just, we're living in a delusion to think that streaming will work here. So when I see MA, respectfully say that no one is coming to save us, I agree. Nobody is coming to save us. But when she goes further to say that we need to build our own platforms, I totally disagree. I don't think that's the answer to the problems. The answer is, realistically, what distribution models would work in Africa? Streaming would not work. We've tried it.
Why do you think streaming won't work? What is the problem? I mean, I do remember the founder of Iroko, Jason Njoku, coming out and saying that we have issues with, of course, even persons being able to afford data. Right. We have problems with piracy. Right. Is it just that? But we have the numbers, right, of people, when we look at people that actually tune in to watch some of these shows on this streaming platform. So why can't streaming work? Netflix works here.
Well, did it work? I don't think so.
Well, Netflix, they pulled out.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Netflix now, the direction now is they're taking about 12 titles this year, and they're taking sort that's gone to the cinema. So before they take your film, must have done well in the cinema. So it doesn't even favor people that are doing cerebral stuff. It only favors the slapstick guys, who are doing the box office numbers. So Netflix, practically, they're not here, right? So we don't have storytelling problems in Nollywood. That's not our problems. We have a lot of stories.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to distribute. And we're hiding under the fact that we get it, like we understand. We do not get it. And we need to come to that realization that streaming cannot work here for now, right? A lot of stuff, the economics just don't work. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
To operate a streaming platform is expensive. If the guys like Netflix are not profitable, even after years of being in the business, if Showmax, after investing so much, permit me to say, the likes of Kava and Ebony Life on Plus, they don't have the money that Showmax has invested in their platforms, and they still discontinue it. So, the maths is there. It's not so difficult, to be honest. I mean, when I hear people say, we need to build our platforms, that's not the solution.
Okay, I hear you. Like, I like the fact that you pointed out about the numbers and what's it called, streaming, like, in terms of how much we subscribe, because I think we're amongst the lowest, even down to Spotify and the likes. But do you think also maybe part of what caused the likes of Netflix pulling out probably would be our talent, producers and film directors? Because I remember there was a time I read a story about how maybe the film producers don't maximize the funds that are available to them. Do you think that's also part of the problem? Because I remember someone pointed out that they could release, let's say $100 million. Or $100,000, or maybe let me just say 1,000. I know it was in millions, and the producer would use 10,000 to shoot, then save 90,000. It's more than that. It's in millions. I'm just using that as an example. So I feel like there was a trust issue because the talents were complaining. So you think that was a problem for Netflix pulling out? That's number one. Okay. Then also, if you think about the streaming platforms that are pulled out, should we just stick to YouTube?
So to answer, I think I'll start from the second one. YouTube seems like the most realistic distribution platform at the moment. The only challenge with YouTube is it took a while for you to build the community on there, because that's what you're building. That's how it works. For YouTube, the barrier of the distributor is no longer there, especially for filmmakers. So whatever you make at the back end, you make for yourself. For cinema, there's a lot of percentage cuts because the exhibitors, the cinemas get their money, distributors get their money. So as a filmmaker, you got to pay your investors back. So you've borrowed money to make the film. So whatever you get, the 20-30% you get from the film, you have to pay them back with interest. So at the end of the day, you're going home with, you know.
So do you feel like producers, filmmakers make a loss when they use cinemas?
Oh yeah, cinema is not profitable in Nigeria.
How come some people claim to be like, you know, box office greats in terms of?
Well, I mean, so it's
like numbers are fabricated?
I would call it good PR. You know what I'm saying? It's not the billions are good. When I say this, the billion fans they sort of have certain issues with me. So when I come and say stuff like this, they be like, "You just hate it," and I totally get it. You know, they stand, so they stand their guys like 100%. But the truth is, and which is what Kunle was trying to clarify when he was talking about Funke making the monies at the cinemas. He categorically mentioned that he would not go to the cinema anymore except it's a shot that he can make his money back. He's not Kunle is about one of the smartest filmmakers we have in Nigeria at the moment. Like I said in the previous interview, he's made more money than anyone has gone to the cinemas in 5 years. And coming to Netflix, I'm privy to some information. Netflix acquired some films. I know one that they took for $200,000 when they were here. I don't think the money was the challenge. That is also a Nigerian thing. Yeah, because when you haven't seen $200,000 to make a film before and it comes and you're like, come on, in Nigeria, we'll make a film for a week. 2 weeks, we're done. We're done. Right, cinema, at least the most, we do 1 month. In the US, in Hollywood, they're spending 2 years to make one film. So when you're giving them $200,000 to make one film, they're like, bruh.
That's just for pre-production.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much money. So they would rather, you know, use what they've been using, just upgrade the quality of the picture, maybe, but then it's not going to change the lines. That's not why Netflix left. Netflix left because it wasn't just working. People were unsubscribing, they were not returning customers, and it wasn't just making sense. It wasn't good business sense for them. That's why they left.
Okay, let's bring it back to the conversation. I mean, because as soon as this news came out, I believe we received the email yesterday. It was much later in the day where you know, Mo Abudu, who is one of the champions of, you know, African content streaming in Africa, she even spoke about a fund that they are setting up with the CBN. But she made a strong point, like you rightfully said, that no one is coming to save the African media industry, and that Africans must build sustainable platforms and business models designed for their own markets, which you said. But when companies like Netflix, Disney spend billions annually on technology, marketing, and on content, can African platforms, more importantly Nigerian platforms, compete at that level? Or should we look at collaboration, for example? I know that we had Kava from Filmhouse, we had On Plus, you know, from Ebony Live. We're seeing these pockets of streaming platforms. Should we see a collaboration and maybe we stand a chance?
So I don't think the investment is really the problem or the challenge. I think it's the people. And when we talk about the economics of, you know, the people that are supposed to be customers for these platforms, it is just clear that a lot of them cannot afford to keep going, they cannot afford to be consistent with subscribing. It is just the plain truth, right? The reason why YouTube is successful is because you don't need to subscribe to be a part of the platform. You only need to have data, right? And some of these telcos now have specific, you know, data for YouTube only. You know, they have where you could pay to just get YouTube data and watch stuff, and it's probably not so expensive to use. But the likes of On Plus and Kava, you need streaming, you need internet data, you need very good data to watch good quality. You need money to subscribe, and that's the challenge.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about in this particular, you know, should I say Showmax exit and the streaming services generally, but at a time.
We're probably going to have you back and talk more on this, but we appreciate having you here and, of course, your insight.